Hi, and welcome to the She Works for Him vlog. I am so glad that you've taken a few moments to join me today. I've just been really asking the Lord what it is I'm supposed to talk about with you that has been on my heart. And this past weekend, Jim and I were teaching a class in our community about budgeting. And I used this example that I want to use with you today because we were talking about having a generous heart. And sometimes generosity, it's more than just money. Not just sometimes. It is definitely more than just financially being generous with people. And if we think about generosity as it applies to our work, there's so much that we can do that can help endear people to see Jesus in our lives. So it is for a lot of people getting to be close to the end of summer. And I know that can be a time where we're harvesting things from our garden, we're harvesting things to eat and flowers. And so I think about the fact I love to garden. I love to get my hands in the dirt. It has been terribly hot this last month, so my garden has suffered and I have not spent as much time out there because it's just been really hard. But I love getting produce out of my garden and having more than enough so that I can share it with other people. And so sometimes that means just, putting extra tomatoes at the food bank that we have here in town, or taking them to church with me, or calling or texting a friend and saying, hey, I've got some tomatoes on my porch. I'd love for you to come and get some so you can enjoy them. But when I think about generosity, one of the things that I think about is the kind of flowers that I plant. And this example goes back to my mom always had peonies and zinnias in her garden. And I always loved them just because they were so pretty. But I've learned something about zinnias that I want to share with you today because I think it really applies greatly in our lives and that we can learn so much from it. So with a zinnia, it starts, I plant them from seed and try to get as many as I can in my garden and hope that they grow different varieties. But what's really neat about them is that when they start to bloom, you actually want to cut the blooms off and make bouquets out of them, give them away, do whatever you want with them, because then you will get more blooms. So God has created this flower that the more we cut them, the more we give them away, the more that we enjoy them and share them with others, the more blooms we will get to keep doing that. And so I think about that in terms of our generosity when I'm looking at my garden, I have a ton of blooms out there. It's super beautiful. But if I choose to cut some of them and take them away, I will actually get more blooms. And I think this is a beautiful example. So first of all, I'm going to show you what I picked today because they are so pretty. This is the bouquet that I just picked today. I have never had a zinnia with that color and that it's so huge. It's beautiful. So I love it. I haven't quite arranged it beautifully yet, but I have it here in my office for me to enjoy today. I had picked a bunch over the weekend and gave them away to people. But the thing that, I think is a great lesson that God has taught us, that if we are willing to give of something that we have and give it to others, He will give us more back. And again, not just financial. Sometimes I think about, like, in our work, what could we do that would be generous? Well, sometimes it's just lending a hand to a project. There's somebody else that's working hard on something and they can't get it done, and you have some expertise in that area and you could help them. Give of your time, and maybe it's only 10 minutes, but you say, oh, I know how to do that spreadsheet. I can help you with that formula, or let me do some filing for you, or let me make that phone call to the vendor that, has been weighing you down. I also think that it can be just a hug, appropriately, of course, a kind word. Being generous with our words is huge for people to be able to be a lot of times we think about kind words, but we don't necessarily share them. So being generous in that way. So the verse I want to give you today is from Proverbs 11, verse 25. The generous will prosper, Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. And just think about that. Like the more that we help other people, lift them up and encourage them and refresh them, God created us in such a way that that comes back, and then we feel invigorated and refreshed. I can remember as a child serving food in a Thanksgiving buffet for some homeless people, and I never felt better than what I did in that moment where I was helping others in a way that was all I was doing was putting the food on their plate. I didn't make it, I didn't provide it, I just was serving it. But boy, did it really invigorate me. And that's, I think, what this verse is saying. If we help refresh others, we will ourselves be refreshed. And what is more refreshing than to look at beautiful colors of creation that God has created? So that is why I love to have a cutting garden, because I just know that it brings a smile to people's faces. I had a neighbor that lost a dad this last week to a battle with cancer, and I took her a bouquet of flowers because that was the thing that I knew would just give her a peaceful moment and to be able to enjoy God's creation. So I just want to encourage you in your work, in your home, in your neighborhood, to be generous with your time, to be generous with your kind words, to be a listening ear, be generous with just sitting still. And or if you have produce or flowers, be generous with those as well and give them away. Bring them to work, put them on somebody's desk, share with them, make a salad, whatever it might be. But I just encourage you today to do that in your work. Enjoy all that God has given you, but share it with others.